In Battleship, based of course on the classic game, a fleet of ships is forced to do battle with an armada of unknown origins in order to discover and thwart their destructive goals.
Sir, you may want to come take a look at this.
Where did we find it?
Just fished him right out of the water.
Warning red. Weapons tight. I want everything loaded.
Oh, Battleship. We have finally met. I've been putting off seeing this movie for 2 or 3 weeks now. I've had numerous opportunities to see it, and I've turned them all down. I couldn't bring myself to see it. But it is finally opening weekend in the US, and I have to face it. I just got back from Battleship. Now, here's the deal. I don't know other people's opinions of the movie. I actually haven't read a single review. I do not know if the world loves Battleship or if the world hates Battleship. And I just wasn't interested in reading reviews, to be honest with you. But I'm glad I didn't read reviews because I don't know if people are thinking the way I'm thinking, and that's a good thing. This is the way I'm thinking. Battleship. When it was announced, it was nonsense. When the trailer came out, it was nonsense. The movie came out. It's nonsense. It is exactly on par with expectations. My expectations, the world's expectations. It is exactly what it was always going to be. That's what I have to say about Battleship. It was a dumbass movie, obviously. It's a stupid popcorn blockbuster movie. That's all it is. I think they know that that's all it is. And can you really knock it for that? I mean, you can knock it for just being a dumb movie, but it certainly, I don't think it let anyone down. If anything, it may have surprised people in some areas, and I will get into it. But, I mean, as far as my expectations go, it was exactly what I expected it to be. Transformers' stupid little cousin. So the plot of Battleship, yes, there's a plot. It's basically just aliens attack, we fight the aliens. It's a very simple plot. The draw here really is, I think, the effects more than anything, and I'll get into that. But as far as the plot goes, I mean, it was pretty much just something. They needed to come up with something to make the movie exist. That's it. The movie existed before the plot did. It's one of those types of movies. And so when you have a movie like that, it's going to be kind of, you know, here's a cookie-cutter plot. We know what's going to happen. And here you go. In this case, actually, it's lacking a lot of things. You know, I just sounded surprised, but what's interesting about it, actually, is it's lacking things that it had set up, in my opinion, such as the aliens' history. There's a part where it kind of shows a backstory, and they didn't go back into it, and I was actually kind of interested. Also, the concept of what the aliens deemed an enemy or a non-enemy, I guess, whatever you want to call it. And I wouldn't say an ally, but a threat or a non-threat. That I thought was kind of interesting, and I thought that was going to come up and be something, but it never was. So there's a lot of things that were set up and just never gone back to. Liam Neeson is another one. He disappeared for almost the whole movie. But once again, it was a movie that existed before the plot did. You know, no one had a great idea for a story and then went and made this movie. They had Battleship and then quick come up with a story. So that's that. As far as directing goes, I don't even know, how do you direct a movie like this? It's just crazy. It was schizophrenic. You know, it was all over the place. And the thing is, you know, obviously it's going to be compared to Transformers, and it, you know, rightly so. Michael Bay, you know, make jokes about him, whatever, but when you see Battleship, Michael Bay knows how to throw the reins down on a monstrous action movie and ride it, and just ride it through. He can do that. This movie was really all over the place. A lot of the times on the screen it was just a mishmash of colors, and I was like, what? And it was just crazy, all over the place. Also, the pacing was all over the place. Took way too long to get into the action, and these guys must know that all we care about is the action. So, for this movie, obviously, is what I'm talking about. Not in general. This movie, the only reason anyone's going is for the action, obviously. But it takes too long to get into that, in my opinion, and it was definitely getting boring. The whole movie was boring because you don't really care what's going on, so it certainly wasn't, I mean, it was entertaining to a point, but I was getting a little bit kind of, alright, it's supposed to be about 2 hours, when are we ending? Effects-wise, this is where you have to be honest and say, great job on the effects. They do a great job, these people who do these effects. In the Transformers movies, the effects are amazing. This movie was not up there. It was very video gamey in some spots. It definitely wasn't as big, but, you know, I'm sure the budget was lower. I actually don't know. I would assume the budget was lower because it's Battleship versus Transformers, but it was not up to the Transformers level, but it was still, you know, still entertaining. That's the only thing that's really entertaining about it. And I have to point out that I actually think there were 2 effect shots that were reused. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'll have to check this on the DVD, I'm not going to see it again. But I think the effect of one of those ball and chain things being created was used twice, once at the beginning and once at the end, and at the beginning it was cut up a little bit, and then towards the end it was a full shot. I think that was the exact same thing. I think. And also when the beam goes up into the sky, I think it was the exact same shot again, which is weird, I guess, but maybe I'm wrong. Obviously, I could very well be wrong. I only saw it once. And acting. Now, here's the thing. I didn't have a problem with the acting. I will just put that out there right now. In a movie like this, you can't tell, are they acting bad? Is it just a bad movie? Is the script bad? Is the directing bad? You really can't place much on the actors in something like this. Everybody was okay in my eyes. There were some not so okay people. I won't even get too detailed into it because there's a lot of people in this movie. But yeah, in some spots I was like, ugh. In the rest of it, it didn't bother me. So I'll leave it at that. I thought the acting was fine. And I have to say, Rihanna, not bad. Not bad, Rihanna. You surprised me. You really surprised me. She fit in perfectly in this movie. Would she fit well in another movie? I have no idea. But in this movie, specifically, I thought she fit in perfectly. Which maybe isn't saying much, but I do mean it in a good way. And now, I'd like to say the major aspect that made this movie better than it would have been without. The fact that they stuck to Battleship. Fantastic job on using the pegs, on using the Battleship part where they're doing, you know, E11, hit, miss. That was fantastic in my opinion. Exactly what the movie should have been. Forget the aliens, make it something else, I don't know. That all was just, you know, nonsense. I actually really enjoyed those bits. I loved when I think we saw it in the trailer and I pointed it out in an episode of Pretty Much It once, but their pegs that they were shooting, I loved that. I have to say I loved that. Thought it was a great idea that they actually went with it and they said hit, miss. That was great. The one thing I could do without was the product placement because this movie is literally the Hollywood product placement movie of the year. This is the movie where literally everybody piled on, especially Coke Zero. I'm sure you noticed it as well. But overall, Battleship, like I said, was exactly on par with expectations in my opinion. My expectations, at least. I don't know about yours. I was not expecting it to be anything more than it was, or really anything less. Actually, maybe I did expect it to be even less, because there were some things I liked. But overall, you know, I would say it was a fun ride, but it really wasn't up to that level like Transformers is, in my opinion, because it was kind of boring. But, yeah, it was, you know, Battleship, it is what it is. It's exactly what I thought it would be when it was first announced. So, you know, is that good or bad? You be the judge. I'm just saying Battleship is what it is. So let me know in the comments what you thought of Battleship. Do you agree or disagree with the fact that it was pretty much exactly what it should have been expected to be from day one? Do you agree with that? Do you disagree? Do you think that this is an abomination and there are major issues with it? Or are you like me and you think, you know what? This is what it was supposed to be. Let it go. That's exactly what it is. Don't see it. Or do. Who cares? Let me know what you thought of the Battleship aspects, like the game with the pegs and the, you know, using the coordinates and all that. Let me know if you appreciated that or if you thought that was stupid. I actually liked it. Let me know what you thought of Rihanna, honestly. Let me know, because, you know, that was something that people were interested in. Let me know anything you want about Battleship, and that is pretty much it.
Hit it!